Here are the headlines for Sunday evening, September 1, 2024. Not the type of character you want in high office. Tim Walz's brother slams vice presidential candidate. Tim Walz's eldest brother, Jeff Walz, publicly criticized his sibling, saying he is not the right character for high office and has stories that would support this claim. Jeff Walz expressed major political differences with Tim, who has been the governor of Minnesota since 2019. He also hinted at potential scandals, writing the stories I could tell on Facebook, sparking speculation about what these stories might entail. This development comes as Tim Walz is running for vice president alongside Kamala Harris, and his brother's comments may pose a challenge to their campaign. Heinous, vile, disgusting Gold Star families slam Kamala Harris after attack on Trump backfires horribly. Kamala Harris was criticized by 8 Gold Star families for her attack on former President Donald Trump after he paid his respects at Arlington National Cemetery last week. The families had invited Trump to attend the ceremony, which they said was not for political purposes, but rather because he is a leader who has been there for them from the beginning. They accused Harris of playing politics and lacking empathy and understanding about the sacrifice their loved ones made. 49-year Ricky Pearsall shot in chest during San Francisco robbery. Mom gives update. Ricky Pearsall, the San Francisco 49ers first-round draft pick, was repeatedly shot during an attempted robbery in downtown San Francisco's Union Square area Saturday. According to Mayor London Breed, Pearsall is in stable condition after being transported to a hospital with possible gunshot wounds. The shooter, a 17-year-old known gang member from Tracy, was arrested and found with a gun despite having been apprehended with a gun just 3 days prior and released. The shooting occurred when the suspect attempted to rob Pearsall with a gun while he was walking alone shortly after 3:30 local time. According to law enforcement sources, more than one shot was fired during the incident. Debate, desperation time for Democrats. The author believes that Democrats have no confidence in their candidate or policies, citing Kamala Harris's frequent flip-flopping as evidence of the party's lack of conviction. The author argues that the more Democrats try to hide and minimize damage, the less confident they appear. This perceived lack of confidence is likely to hurt the Democratic Party's chances in the upcoming election, with 2 months still remaining until the vote. Harris accidentally admits the economy-crushing Green New Deal is her real agenda. The European Union is aggressively implementing environmental policies rooted in United Nations climate directives, which could destroy the economy within a decade or less. The Green New Deal was a wildly unpopular concept that failed to gain public support due to its inclusion of climate justice protocols designed to redistribute wealth from richer nations to poorer ones. Despite this, President Joe Biden's administration has covertly embedded carbon policies into his Inflation Reduction Act, which has been successful in launching the first stage of climate controls outlined in the Green New Deal. The EU is attempting to bribe farmers with subsidies and lessen regulatory visits to farms, but this may not be enough to prevent widespread famine and economic collapse. The globalists behind these policies aim to use carbon regulations as leverage to pressure nations into adopting their desired policies, ultimately leading to a modern-day form of feudalism in the name of a climate crisis that does not exist. Berkeley Law School Dean, Constitution outdated, threatens the United States modified title. Berkeley Law School Dean, Constitution is outdated, threatens the United States. Berkeley Law School Dean Erwin Chemerinsky is promoting the idea of replacing the United States Constitution with a new document that would create a more effective and democratic government. He argues that American democracy is in danger and that reforms are essential, citing low public trust in government institutions and a growing loss of faith in democracy among young Americans. Chemerinsky suggests starting fresh by passing a new constitution rather than making piecemeal amendments to the existing document, which he believes was written for a different era and is no longer suitable for the modern world. Israeli-American among 6 more hostages found dead in Gaza tunnel. Israel's military has recovered the bodies of 6 hostages who were kidnapped by Hamas on October 7 and later brutally murdered in Gaza. The deceased have been identified as Hersh Goldberg-Polin, Eden Yerushalmi, Ori Danino, Alex Lubnov, Carmel Gat, and Almog Sarusi. President Joe Biden expressed outrage over the killings, particularly of dual Israeli-United States citizen Goldberg-Polin, and vowed to work towards a deal to secure the release of remaining hostages. Israel's Prime Minister, Benjamin Netanyahu, faced criticism for prioritizing military operations over reaching a deal, with protests expected to grow in Tel Aviv and Jerusalem. More high-profile retail stores are getting kicked in the teeth. Discount retailers such as Dollar General and Big Lots are struggling due to lackluster consumer confidence, particularly among lower-income households who are still feeling the pressure of high prices. Dollar General shares dropped 32% after the company reported lower than expected same-store sales and earnings per share, while Big Lots is closing underperforming stores and struggling with debt. The National Retail Federation chief economist notes that despite a healthy economy, consumer confidence remains weak, with concerns about stagnant wage growth and high prices affecting sentiment. Additionally, retailers such as Abercrombie & Fitch are experiencing stock drops due to uncertain economic environments, and Rite Aid has filed for bankruptcy, closing hundreds of stores nationwide. Communism is the perfect recipe for economic collapse. Kamala Harris's recent statements on high gas prices and patents have sparked concerns about government interference in the free market. Businesses react quickly to such suggestions, leading to reduced capital formation, higher prices, and less innovation. As someone with experience in various industries including construction, food supply, restaurant ownership, and medical industry intellectual property, I can attest that business owners are wary of politicians who suggest interfering with the normal operations of the free market. Giving $25,000 to first-time homeowners would likely lead to higher home prices, while price controls on food could create scarcity and civil unrest. Georgia election workers seek control of Giuliani's assets after defamation suit. Ruby Freeman and Wandre Moss. 2 Georgia election workers who won a $146 million defamation judgment against former New York City Mayor Rudy Giuliani have asked a federal judge to grant them control over Giuliani's asset. The mother-daughter pair are seeking control of Giuliani's Florida condominium, valued at $3.5 million, and his New York apartment, valued at $5.6 million, as well as various other assets, including a Mercedes SL 500 and numerous watches. They're also demanding sports memorabilia and jewelry worth approximately $10 million in total. Internal Revenue Service lagging in complying with order not to raise audit rates for under $400,000 earners, watchdog. The Internal Revenue Service has made limited progress in complying with the directive from the Treasury Department to avoid increasing audit rates for individuals earning less than $400,000 per year. The directive was issued in August 2022 following the passage of the Inflation Reduction Act, which allocated nearly $80 billion to the IRS over 10 years, with $24 billion set aside for enforcement activities. The Treasury Inspector General for Tax Administration found that the IRS has not finalized a methodology to calculate audit rates and is exploring alternative approaches, but officials say the agency does not consider this an urgent matter as it has enough time to develop the methodology before fiscal year 2025 begins in October 2024. Waste of the day, unscrupulous non-governmental organizations rake in billions for foreign assistance. A recent report from the Congressional Research Service revealed that between 2013 and 2022, 15 nonprofits each received over $1 billion from the federal government for foreign, non-military projects. Almost $7 billion went to two particularly unworthy organizations, RTI International and Catholic Relief Services. RTI International accepted $2.3 billion for humanitarian projects despite past reports warning of issues with their spending, while Catholic Relief Services was found guilty of discriminating against a gay employee and had 6 former board members named in a Pennsylvania grand jury report on sex abuse in the Catholic Church. Trump to vote no on Florida pro-abortion ballot initiative. Former President Donald Trump stated that he would vote against a proposed Florida amendment that guarantees the right to abortion before viability, which is typically around 24 weeks of pregnancy and potentially up until birth. According to Trump, the current 6-week ban in Florida is too short, but allowing abortions up until 9 months is unacceptable. He emphasized that there should be something in between these two options, citing his opposition to what he perceives as radicalization on the Democrat side.